All right, so in the past two videos, I shared with you how I was able to get a 5K new client with AI Receptionist. And in today's video, I'm going to be going over the behind the scenes of how we onboard this client and the various setups, the onboarding process that we have in place. All right, so let's get to it. Hey, for those that don't know me, my name is Paul Kim, and I help agency and consultants grow local businesses using high-level AI and automation. All right, so for those that have been following me, I have been doing in the past couple two videos. It's going to be seasons or episodes where I go through a client from lead acquisition all the way to client fulfillment and how we deliver. If these are the kind of videos that you like, really we could greatly appreciate you putting comments and letting me know that these are helpful. That only tells me to create more of these type of episodes for different clients. And if anything that you want me to do when it regarding agencies, because I actually run an agency, and so I just want you to know that. Let me know, if it's client acquisition, onboarding, any client deliver, fulfillment. Let me know, and I will I'll create those videos. All right. So just a little recap. So I implemented AI Receptionist in my own business, got the lead, followed up, got on a discovery call. He said, send me the service agreement. I sent over the service agreement. He signed it. And now we are now in the process of onboarding. All right. So before I go over the onboarding, I want to kind of explain to you the evolution of, if you've been following me, a couple of years ago, I decided after I got introduced to HighLevel, to go from a traditional agency to a system agency. Now, a lot of mindset shifts, okay, and I constantly struggle with it to this day, okay, because even as of 2 weeks ago, right, I basically had to reset myself because I was going in the direction of the traditional agency. It's just I've been doing this for so long. It's very, to actually pivot and make a change, it's very difficult. So what I mean by that is that, every client, because we're doing services and I had different services with regard to each client, we had different folders, we had different documents, we had different onboarding process for each client depending on the type of service. And so what I'm now transitioning to is one system that I could implement for every client. And so there's a lot of things that are transitioning right now. And so hopefully, as you follow along, you will get the benefit of the things that I'm doing in my business. Okay, so let me give you an overview. I'll put the picture of some of the SOPs, or what, I don't know whether you call them SOPs, the onboarding setups that we implement. The first one is the Universal Client Onboarding. The second one is Google Business Profile Setup. Third, social media setup. Fourth, the local visibility system. And then the fifth and the sixth one is, depending on the tier, is the citation building, and also LSA stands for local service ads. Now, it could also be just Google ads as well. Now, one of the things I've thought about was, like, if I were to go through all of this in depth, this video would be very long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you an overview, like a 10,000 feet overview of each of these sections or modules, I guess you call it, right? let's go over the universal client onboarding. Now, why did I call it universal? Because, like I said, I had different onboarding for different clients. So, what I so mentally, I had to make a note as like, okay, I want to make this universal for every single client. All right. And so, what you're seeing is the work of many years of me fine tuning, getting rid of certain things, adding. This applies to all clients. And so the process here is basically we're gathering information, we're gathering any access information that we need from the client. We're also gathering their branding, their goals, how we communicate with them, how to get organized, right? And so the end result is that we have everything to start to basically implement the next set of setups, okay, or the next items, which is number two is the Google Business Profile setup. Now, this is the foundation of local visibility for any local business, right? Um, we have to, if they don't have a Google Business Profile, we have to get it verified. Next, we have to optimize it. We have to set up categories, the services. We have to figure out a way for them to get reviews. And so this we need to get access to this, and so that comes with the universal onboarding. And so, but Google Business Profile is the fundamental, and this is what we get started immediately. Okay. Step number three is the social media setup. Full transparency. This is something that has been really a struggle for me because it takes a lot of time, right? What I mean by a lot of time is that from my experience, a lot of local business owners have no clue what, like, what I mean by no clue, meaning that they may have multiple social media accounts and they don't know it because they've hired so many different agencies, and every agency creates their own social media accounts because they don't have access to, because the client doesn't have their login and password. And so this is really frustrating, right? And so it is, the easiest situation in this case with this specific client, they didn't have any social media. So it was easy for me to just go in and create the social media account. Now, which social media accounts and why do we need social media accounts? Because social media accounts, we're not creating them for the purposes of content creation. We're creating them for credibility. We're creating it for to let Google know that this is a legitimate and credible business. And so everything has to be consistent. The branding has to be consistent. The business information has to be consistent. And so we're building authority for this business or this professional, if it happens to be a professional. And like I said, one of the frustrating things from my past experience with working with clients is that clients do have no clue their login and their password. And so this may be a future video where I go into how do we get access, how do we set up these social media accounts so that this is a one-time thing and not something that you want to linger with, I guess. And so if this is a video that you want me to create, then put your comments below and let me know. Okay. Next is the utilization of basically the HighLevel, right? Setup number 4 is the local visibility system, and this goes back to my local framework. I'll put the link to that video. You can go check it out. This is where we initiate or basically set up and start the client's sub account for HighLevel, and this is where we start the application for getting a phone number and getting A2P verified. Okay, and some of the things that we set up is the AI receptionist. We set up their chat widget. We set up their lead capture. We set up their the follow up notification and any automations related to that. We also set up their review AI as well. Okay, and that's basically the local visibility system setup. Number 5, citation building and Google Local Service Ad is, depending on the tier. Now, if you want to know more about the different tiers and the client, you can download my client acquisition roadmap. I'll put the link to my community, which previously I had it on an opt-in page, but I decided to make things simple. So if you want to get access to my client acquisition roadmap, I'll put it, you have access to it once you join my community. Okay, I'll put the link below. All right. Citation building, for those that don't know what citation, it is one of the factors when it comes to local SEO. We use a platform called Brightlocal. Now, in full transparency, I know HighLevel has their own services which helps with citation building. We have not implemented that because they previously utilized Yext. And so I was not a big fan of that. Now they're using another service. And so rather than switching, every time they switch service, that creates confusion within my team. We decided to stick with Brightlocal's citation services. And if that's a video that you want me to go into, let me know. I may start testing out HighLevel citation building service. I still, whether it's good or bad, I don't know. But I know that we use Brightlocal and we've been happy with them. And so we're continuing that process. Then with regard to Google Local Service Ads, this is our highest tier. If they want us to set up their Google Local Service Ad or their Google PPC, this is something that we set up and we can manage for these clients. All right, so that's a wrap for basically giving you a brief overview of the onboarding. If there's any specific part of the onboarding that you want us to go deep dive into, please let me know in the comments below. But follow me as we, in my next video, I'm probably going to talk about one of these onboarding setups. And then we're going to go into client fulfillment and that's about it. All right. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next. I'm going to put an end card here for my playlist. So go check it out, and I'll see you next time. Bye now.